Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the City of Southfield regular meeting of the Planning Commission for January 24th, 2024. Let us please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. May I have a roll call, please?
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Bernuti?
Present.
Ms. Goodwin-Dye?
Present.
Mr. Griffiths?
Here.
Ms. Gruber?
Here.
Mr. Martin?
Here.
Mr. Willis?
Here.
Dr. Stevens-Gunn?
Here.
Madam Chair, you do have a quorum to conduct business.
I'm sure everyone has had an opportunity to review our agenda for this evening. Is there a motion to approve our agenda?
Madam Chair, I'd like the agenda to be corrected to follow the bylaws, section 4, order of business for an annual meeting. After announcements from the election of officers.
One moment.
Page 4 of the bylaws.
In section 4 of the bylaws, it says, "The order of business for the annual meeting to be the commission's first regular meeting in January shall be as follows. Number 1, call to order. Number 2, pledge of allegiance. Number 3, the roll call. Number 4, announcements and communications. Number 5, election of officers. Number 6, taking of the chair by the new chair. Public hearings is 7. 8 is approval of meeting. 9 is adoption of the calendar. 10 is miscellaneous. 11 is adjournment. Everyone have an opportunity to review that?
Yes.
Is there a motion to modify our agenda according to section 4 of our bylaws?
Mr. Chair, make a motion to amend our agenda to conform with the bylaws.
Is there a second?
Support.
It's been moved by Commissioner Martin and second by Commissioner Goodwin-Dye that we modify our agenda to move the item under miscellaneous, which is the third bullet on miscellaneous election of officers, to after announcements and communications on tonight's agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Next, we have announcements. Did we approve the agenda? No, we haven't. Is there a motion to approve the agenda with the modification that we just specified?
So moved.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by Commissioner Martin and second by Commissioner Goodwin-Dye.
Twice.
What?
Twice.
That we approve the agenda with the modifications. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Now we move on to announcements and communications. Are there announcements and communications?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Given such, it looks like it's time for our elections. Given that my term as chair expires at this moment. So is there a nomination for chair of the Planning Commission? Commissioner Willis.
I move for Jeremy Griffin to be chair of planning.
Accept. Are there any other nominations for chair of the Planning Commission
No.
moving forward? Given none, all in favor, how we?
Yeah, you can take the vote now.
Okay. Given, all in favor of Commissioner Jeremy Griffiths as chair of the Planning Commission? All in favor? Aye. All right, motion carries. Congratulations. Would you like to conduct the rest of the elections?
Thank you, sure.
All right.
Surprise. You get to move on.
Will we do this to music?
Man. Am I just supposed to stand until it's official? Come on.
Thank you.
I was not aware that this was happening today, but here we are. So we're now looking for a nomination for vice chair. Do you want to go? I'm going to nominate Robert Willis as the vice chair.
I would accept.
Okay. Any other nominations for vice chair? No. Seeing none. All in favor of accepting Robert Willis as vice chair? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. You get to, you got to,
We'll wait till we're
you're going to
finished.
stay there? Okay. Looking for a nomination for secretary?
I'd like to nominate Commissioner Gruber for Secretary of the Planning Commission.
Do you accept?
Yes.
Okay. Commissioner Gruber has accepted nomination. Any other nominations for secretary? Seeing none. So all in favor of Commissioner Gruber being elected to the position of secretary? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. All right, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is that everybody?
That's everybody.
All right. So now back to the regularly scheduled meeting, I believe. The first item, 24725 Greenfield Road.
Yes, Mr. Chair. This is the request to convert an existing general office building to medical office use at 24725 Greenfield. It's Greenfield and George Washington Drive. It has the change of use creates a parking deficiency, and they are renovating the building as well, so that creates a need for a site plan because they did have to reconfigure the parking somewhat. I do note that with the current configuration we're going to talk about, there are 6 spaces short, but would also require approval by the Zoning Board of Appeals for a waiver. This is the existing site. As you can see, there's angle parking along the back of the building, and then there was angle parking along the north side of the building with narrow drive aisles and turning radiuses. Some street views of the site. You've got the George Washington view on the top, and then the view from Greenfield on the bottom with that barricade. And then you have the view at the top. There's the north side of the building, which is going to be converted to parallel parking to provide a little more drive aisle on the north side, and then the angle parking on the back of the building, which will be flipping along the rear where they're adding the screening wall and removing that row of landscaping. The current zoning is OS, office service, which does allow the medical office use and the general office use both. It is in a local mixed-use future land use area, which is consistent with the office service uses. The revised site plan, you've got a 90-degree parking going to be going down the west side of the property, up against a screening wall separating it from the residence on the other side, with a one-way drive aisle, and then along the north side of the building, there'll be 2 parallel parking spaces and a drive aisle wide enough then to accommodate proper maneuvering around that corner and out of the site, which was asked for by the fire marshal. The floor plan, they'll be converting the whole building into medical offices. There is the central area is going to remain a foyer with the restrooms and then a stairwell down to a storage basement. So there's about, it's not quite a third of the building, but it's more than a quarter, probably about 30% of the building is this kind of central corridor that is not exam room or waiting room or office space itself. We do have the petitioner present today to answer any questions, and if he's here, Mr. Goldberg.
Please start with stating your name and address for the record, and then tell us a little bit about your project and the recent changes.
Moshe Goldberg, 15618 George Washington, Southfield, Michigan. First of all, congratulations on everyone's new position. Thank you for the constant taking care of the city. The architect just called in sick, so I came running in. What is it that I know he was here 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I guess just remind us about the project.
So the project is that, this building was for 30 years a CPA's office, and people in the neighborhood, it went up for sale. We decided, people thought it was a good idea to get it and make it into a doctor's office. We explored last year to do that, and there was a parking shortage, and we worked with planning to accommodate the upgrading and making it work. So that's what the community wants, so we're trying to put it together.
Thank you. Open up to the commission for any comments or questions. Dr. Stevens-Gunn?
When your architect was here 2 weeks ago, I requested that he provide us with support that the neighbor who is right next door has been made aware and is comfortable moving forward. Are you able to share that information with me?
I actually emailed it to him, and he had it printed out. I just emailed it to the planner and to Mr. Pison, as well as he came last year in person and spoke in support of the project. I could read it off if you want from the email.
It's a very short letter. I've got it in my email here. January 23rd, 2024, to whom it may concern, I, Y.M. Levin, the owner of 15540 George Washington Drive, bordering 2475 Greenfield, approves of a masonry wall or preferably other fencing per ordinance and per plan. So he's fine with a screening approach in that area with a wall or
Thank you.
fence.
Thank you.
Mr. Martin?
No concerns.
Mr. Willis?
Probably more statement than question. First of all, I appreciate your tenacity. You've been here before us a couple of times, and again, I think that effort should be rewarded. And I also appreciate the way you redid the parking. I think that was such a major issue for you, and for you to come up with a solution, kudos to you.
Thank you.
The last, I think I'm going to have a concern with it no matter, because the rear door opens to the sidewalk without a space. I'm always going to have a concern with safety. I hope, my hope is that you would have I have no idea how to fix that, but I'm going to have that concern about safety if anything happens to the other doors you had to leave.
I'm not sure I fully understand, but I would
just,
like...
Just the fact that it opens on the sidewalk, the door that...
The front, the one on Greenfield?
The one on Greenfield, yeah.
That's like an extra or emergency exit. Typically, everyone uses the door by the parking lot.
Okay. I hear you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, it's recessed a little, but not much.
Commissioner Berduti, any comments?
No questions.
Commissioner, sorry, I'm totally. I was like, I moved one seat over and I lost, everything's like scrambled.
I have nothing at this time.
Commissioner Gruber?
No, nothing. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, you made a dramatic improvement to a very tight parking lot. I think it's the best seems like the best you can do. So it's much improved, and it's a nice building. So glad you're able to save it and hopefully use it. The planning department have any comments or the recommendation?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we do have a recommendation. The planning department is recommending favorable recommendation of the site plan review request of Moshe Goldberg to convert the existing building at 24725 from general office to medical office use. It does, all the development features, I'll summarize, minimize the possibility of adverse effects on adjacent properties. It does have adequate access for major or secondary thoroughfares and streets. And this recommendation is based on the documents, facts, and representation and stipulations submitted by the applicant placed on the record. There are a couple of recommended conditions, obviously getting the required parking variance from the Zoning Board of Appeals, consistent with the plans submitted by Zach M. Ostroff and Associates, dated January 8, 2024. Perpetual maintenance agreement for the landscape and other areas to be entered into, to implement recommendations of the Southfield Police Crime Prevention Bureau, and continuous compliance with all applicable ordinances, codes, and laws. Work to be done under permits issued and final inspections by the city, and the medical office hours to be Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., as was previously discussed, if those are still acceptable.
Standard office hours.
All right.
Okay. Looking for a motion from the planning or commission.
To Chair,
Yes, Commissioner Martin.
motion to approve PSP 23-0003.
Support.
Okay, we've got a favorable recommendation by Commissioner Martin, supported by Commissioner Willis. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? None.
Thank you very, very much.
Thank you. Congratulations.
It's been a pleasure.
Moving on to item E, the 24848 Southfield Road.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is an item that's coming back to you. The public hearing was held on December 13th, 2023, and where some information was presented that the planning department wanted some additional time to review came in right before the meeting. The public hearing was, as I said, was held. There's not, another public hearing was not noticed, as that is not required. So this is really just to update the commission since the public hearing was held, and then for the public commission, the planning commission to make a recommendation to go to council. I'll kind of recap here. I wanted to go over just generally a summary. We're adding this to all these requests, a summary of the different types of state liquor licenses. There are off-premise licenses, which are sealed containers that are sold for consumption elsewhere. The SDM, which is for the specially designated merchant's license, which is for sale of beer and wine. And then the SDD, specially designated distributor license, which is for liquor or spirits. These are state liquor sales licenses. There are no, under the state regulations, there are no limits on the number of the off-premise types of licenses and no separation requirements. There are also no separation requirements or limits written into our ordinance for those activities, other than our special land use being required for gas stations, but there are no spacing limits or absolute number limits. There are also what they call on-premise retailer license types, and this is sometimes where people get confused. This is where alcoholic beverages can be served for consumption on the premises, therefore it's called on-premise. And you got your hotel licenses, your tavern, your Class C, which is your standard bar restaurant, your G1 and G2, which are golf clubs, private corporate golf clubs, your brew pubs, and then clubs, nonprofit organizations, your Veterans of Foreign War, and that sort of Elks, that sort of thing. So just kind of an overview. There are a couple of other ones that are just kind of rare. So these are the most common types of state-issued liquor licenses. We did map, additionally, all of the currently, I pulled the list from the state like 2 weeks ago, and we made a map. The blue triangles are all the beer wine sales, the SDM state licenses, and the green circles are the actual SDD licenses for the sale of spirits. So you can see they're kind of distributed around the city. There's a concentration of them up 12 Mile and like Franklin area, but there are a lot of intersections. You'll see multiple sellers of alcoholic beverages. Pretty standard. I assume if we did this to almost any city, we'd get a similar distribution. Then we did add some additional information to this slide, which we had last time, which it shows the blue oval being the proposed site. The orange is another gas station that doesn't currently have alcohol sales. The red is the existing New Abbey Wine and Liquor store to the north. The CVS, Kitty Corner, sells beer, wine, and liquor as well. The Dollar General, which is across and on the south side of 10 Mile, sells beer and wine, is closed at the moment. I think there was a fire in the adjacent space, but it still holds a license. So just to give you an idea what's going on in that immediate that circles 1,000-foot radius around that intersection. Here's the actual site again, existing gas station with its canopy and its access from Southfield and 10 Mile. Existing conditions, there are actually some street views back when the weather was nicer and you could see things a little better. The zoning currently, it's a 30-foot strip of P zoning along Southfield and then B3 for the bulk of the site where the actual building is. And it's local mixed-use future land use, which is consistent with the B3. There's a nice color rendering of the site landscape plan just to give a better idea. They are proposing to add bike racks, connection to the sidewalk, and freshen up the landscaping as part of this project. The floor plan, the yellow highlights where the reconfigured storage will be in the site, inside the building. Got the cold vault beer and wine cooler and liquor shelves behind the cashier. Elevations, these are the existing elevations of the building. The outside's not really proposed to change. Some photos of the interior that were provided by the petitioner. You got the beer coolers, beer cave, wine rack, liquor shelves by where those will be located. And I believe the petitioner is present if they'd like to come forward.
Please state your name and address for the record, and tell us a little bit more about your project.
Sure. Mark Yaldo, 24848 Southfield. I got a project. I live in Southfield for 32 years, and I invest in Southfield over here in the corner on 10 Mile in Southfield. For the gas station, this is about 17 years. And this business has been changing so much, and we came in the state, they changed their rule, on the liquor license as far as the gas station and the beer and wine and everything, so, and the city, they changed their ordinance, and we apply for that, which is obviously, we all need the business because this business is changing so much, right now, the gas business is different than, and we need to keep our doors open, to maintain the expensive taxes, property, everything else. We want to keep our doors open. We want to stay in the business in Southfield. Again, and whatever, we've been doing, meeting the requirement for the state, we meet the requirement for the city, and
Okay, thank you. Any other comments? Okay.
Answer questions.
Just a reminder to the public, we held the public hearing on this last month, so if there are any public comments, there's a public comment section towards the end of the meeting that we've got a few people signed in on the sign-in sheet. All right, open up to the commission for any comments. Dr. Stevens-Gunn.
At this time, I have no concerns.
thanks.
Commissioner Martin.
No concern.
Commissioner Willis.
No questions.
Commissioner Gruber.
No questions.
Commissioner Goodwin-Dye. And Commissioner Burnett.
Thank you. Have you received any pushback from your neighbors, your next door neighbors, the business owners?
No, not at this time.
Thank you. And when do you plan to open, the liquor?
Well, we are working with a license right now. We are purchasing a license, from another location, and that's to be a transfer, state is already approved. We just waiting for the city, then, after that, we could move forward to get it.
I see.
Immediately as the approval goes from the city.
Okay.
If I could, through the chair, just, you guys are recommending they'll have to go through a public hearing and approval at the city council level, then they can come in and apply for their license if they get approved. So they got to get their local zoning in place first before they can request the license.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I think the site plans show it's a tight site, but it does appear to meet the zoning ordinance and all the different conditions from what I've seen. And it's now much more clearly explained how small of a percentage of the store looks like the alcohol sales really becomes. It's just a complimentary. I don't think you're going to draw a new world of people coming down Southfield Road.
It's only convenient.
It's not, you're not Target now, or Walmart all of a sudden, so I think it's, all right, Planning Department, do you have a recommendation?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. With regard to the special use, the Planning Department recommends favorable recommendation of the special use request by Mark Yaldo, 10 Southfield, Sunoco, to permit addition of liquor sales to the existing gas station convenience store at 24848 Southfield Road. The conditions are, the standards. Proposed use will be of such size and character, it'll be in harmony with the appropriate orderly development of the general business district, the B3. Location, size, and intensity and periods of operation are designed to eliminate any possible nuisance likely to emanate therefrom, since this is all interior sales and it's packaged for consumption elsewhere. Proposed use is in accord with the spirit and purpose of the chapter and is not inconsistent with or contrary to the objectives sought by the chapter or principles of sound planning. Proposed use is of such character and the vehicular traffic generated will not have an adverse effect or be detrimental to the surrounding land uses or the adjacent thoroughfares. Proposed use is of character, intensity, and range on the site to eliminate any adverse effects from noise, dust, dirt, glare, odors, fumes. Proposed use will not be adverse for promotion of health, safety, and welfare of the community. Proposed use is designed and operated so as to provide security and safety to employees and general public, and it is based on the documents, facts, and representation stipulations in the application placed on the record. There are two conditions. One is approval of the site plan by the City Council, and the second is continuous compliance with all applicable codes and ordinances, work to be done under permits, plans, permits, and final inspections by the City of Southfield.
Okay, thank you. So to the commission, looking for a recommendation on just the special use portion of this project at this time?
Through the chair, I move for favorable consideration of PSLU 23-0017.
I second it.
Okay, we have a favorable recommendation by Commissioner Willis and a second by Commissioner Bernouini. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. All right, so now the second portion of this project, the site plan review. Any additional comments from the commission? Seeing none. Any additional comments from the planning department?
We do have a recommendation, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
We do recommend favorable recommendation of the site plan review for 2484A Southfield Road for the addition of liquor sales to an existing gas station convenience store. The conditions for site plan review seem to be met. All developed features located minimize possible adverse impacts to adjacent properties and as to relate properly to pedestrian and vehicular traffic safety. Basically unchanged or improved. The site plan does show that access is provided only to a major or secondary thoroughfare or freeway service drive, and a proper relationship exists between the major and secondary thoroughfare and the driveways. We also base this on the documents, facts, representation, stipulations submitted at the application and put on the public hearing record by the petitioner. There are a few conditions subject to the conditions of PSLU 23-0017 approved by City Council. Site and building to be developed per the submitted plans by Bearing Construction and Consulting, November 13th, 2023, FPA for landscape plans, October 10th, 2023, and the lighting plans for Bearing Construction and Consulting, LLC, dated October 27th, 2023. The petitioner to implement the recommendations of Southfield Police Department's Crime Prevention Bureau regarding site security and continuous compliance with all applicable ordinances, codes, laws, and statutes. Petitioner must perform all work under plans, permits, and inspections approved by the City of Southfield.
Thank you. All right, now we're looking for a recommendation on the site plan, which is PSP 23-0017.
Through the chair, I recommend the commission accept the favorable recommendation for PSP 23-0017, the site plan review.
Second.
Okay, we've got a favorable recommendation by Dr. Stevens-Gunn and seconded by Commissioner Martin. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None?
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Next item, 24450 Telegraph Road.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a special land use request to convert an existing light industrial building, renovate, partially demolish, and convert to use for used vehicle sales and an accessory servicing of vehicles as part of that vehicle sales operation. Hours of operation to be Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., number of employees 6, number of cars for sale 12. Here is on Telegraph Road. Close-up of the site, you can see the that the building looks like it was added onto multiple times. The whole northern portion of that building with that's kind of U-shaped with the attachment, that's all being demolished. And then that southern building is the one that's actually staying. Here's some photos of the existing exterior of the building, green siding, pitched roofs, interesting architecture. The zoning is industrial, I-1. The future land use is Southfield Technology Corridor. The Southfield Technology Corridor does allow sort of a mix of activities, including obviously R&D and industrial, and used vehicle sales is a special land use in the I-1 district. This is the existing conditions demo plan. So you can see that like hatched, sort of U-shaped building that's attached to the north, it's all hatched out, that's what's getting demolished. Whereas the one that's outlined is the one that's staying. Included this because there was some lack of clarity last time about what part was being demolished, so I included the demo plan. I hope that would clarify the issue. This is the site landscape plan. So the building will stay, there'll be parking on the north and south side. The curb cuts stay open. You've got landscaping being added all along Telegraph. And then they do have snow storage areas there in the red, color-coded. They're adding bike racks and a sidewalk connection. So it is something of an improvement as far as that goes. There's a dumpster enclosure in the back corner, and that's next to the loading area. This is the building floor plan, fairly simple. You got overhead doors on the north and south side, a sales area, a paint booth, and a lift for servicing the vehicles. So this is where they'll be, having their office space and working on the cars indoors. This is a revised elevation. They actually kind of took the nice rendering they gave us and made the actual elevation drawings consistent with it. So what you see at the top is the renderings, both from the northwest corner and the southeast corner, or southwest corner, and then the actual elevation showing the changes. It's quite a transformation of the exterior of the building. It's going to look quite a bit different. Got some awnings on there and some different materials, some color on that, along with the landscaping. It's shown a little bit better in these top renderings than it was in the prior one. This is a close-up, the rendering we saw last time, which is now consistent. And I believe the petitioner is present. If they could come forward.
Please state your name and address for the record.
Thanks.
Some nice big renderings, yeah.
Thank you.
I like being for a few minutes.
Jigger the names.
Careful what you wish for. Very bizarre.
I know. On so many levels, right?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mike Sema, and I'm the consultant for this project.
All right. Just your address for the record.
2093 Burgundy Street, West Bloomfield, Michigan, 48323.
Okay, thanks. And anything to add above the presentation?
Well, we are changing the use over here from industrial to auto sale, and also repair for only the client, not for the customer outside. And there will be no sign to be in this place. We are demolishing this almost half of the building, and we're going to put a brand new building. It's going to be completely different than what it is right now. I'll show you some picture of the old one, and that the new one will going to look like. So we're going to be improvement, more tax to the city, and better location. It's going to look like when you drive on the Telegraph.
All right, thank you. Dr. Stevens-Gunn?
I just think that this is a beautiful rendition of what it is you all are going to do with that property. I think that I'm looking forward to seeing it. So good job on it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Through the chair, this does require a public hearing. Typically, we open the public hearing prior to taking,
Yes.
Okay.
to get any additional feedback that the may want to discuss.
Thank you for the reminder. All right, this is a public hearing. At this time, I'd like to open the public hearing. If anyone would like to speak on this item, please approach the front. You'll have 3 minutes to speak.
Please have a seat, Mr. Sema.
Yes.
Please sit down, please.
Yeah, you can just sit over to the side in case the public wants to speak for a minute.
Okay. So the guy said, what are we doing?
So we're opening the public hearing at this time. If you could just step to the side.
Yes.
We'll see if any public wants to come up. Seeing no public approach, we'll close the public hearing. All right, now back to the commission.
I've shared my comments.
Thank you. Commissioner Martin?
Oh, I'm sorry. The snow area, the snow storage area, could you point that out?
Yeah, the two red areas on the north and south side of the building, and then up in the top right corner by the dumpster, there's another spot for snow removal. It's a limited area.
Yeah.
It is a very awkwardly shaped site.
Yeah. The rendition and okay, no further questions.
Commissioner Willis?
Thank you. Not a question, but again, a compliment for what this building was and what this rendition looks like. It is a world of difference, and so I think this is a major, major upgrade. Thank you.
Commissioner Gerber?
No comments.
Commissioner Goodwin-Dodd? Commissioner Berduty?
No comment as well, but I'd like to thank you for this rendition and the pictures. They're very nice. Thank you.
Yeah, this is a very tough shaped site. Appreciate what you've done. You do the addition by subtraction. You take away a bunch of bad and come back with something good. So I think it's going to be a big improvement. Again, it's nice when a kind of an odd shaped building fits a perfect, fits the new user, and you're able to meet all the ordinances and make all these improvements. And it looks like it's going to be a really nice, really different looking building. Can't wait to see that. Appreciate all the additional renderings too. It's very helpful to show it to you. Okay, Commissioner Willis.
Just curious, when do you think construction will start, and when do you think it would be completed?
Construction will start after we pull the permit and we get all inspection, and then we will, as soon as possible, as soon as we have approval from the city, then we're gonna go ahead and start working on it.
Thank you.
We are willing and ready to do it tomorrow morning.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Planning Department, do you have a recommendation?
Before we could, if I could ask through the chair and Mr. Payson, you can go back to slide 30.
Did I shoot it past it? Which one's slide 30? Hold on. 45.
It's the second slide on this case, so it's after the special use introduction. Yeah, okay, go. Keep going. Yeah. That, next slide.
No, this one. This one?
This one, yeah. It says 30 on mine, sorry.
Yeah.
Is that indicating two separate lots, or is, I'm a little confused by that, the blue line that is going down the middle of the property?
Oh, that's the section line.
I just couldn't get it to not highlight.
Okay, because I would make a recommendation that they consolidate the lots.
No, it's
If
one
this-
parcel.
okay,
It's a section line. It's a GIS artifact.
It was a little confusing, so I just wanted to
We'll
be
see if we
clear.
can figure out a way to fix that for the
Okay,
next.
thank you.
All right, back to the Planning Department. Do you have a recommendation?
All right. Yes, Mr. Chairman, let me flip back to that slide. Come on now. Get all easy. There we go. Planning Department recommends favorable recommendation of the special use request of Mike Sama Atlas Consulting for used vehicle sales operation and vehicle repair accessory to vehicle sales. The vehicle sales at 24450 Telegraph. The review standards, proposed use will be of such size and character will be in harmony with appropriate and orderly development of the industrial district. Location, size, intensity, periods of operation designed to eliminate any possible nuisance that may emanate. The proposed use is in accord with the spirit and purpose of the chapter and not inconsistent with its objectives or principles of sound planning. The proposed use is a character of vehicle traffic generally will not be have an adverse effect or be detrimental to surrounding land uses or adjacent thoroughfares. Proposed use is such character intensity and arranged so as to eliminate any adverse effects resulting from noise, dust, dirt, glare, oil, or fumes. And proposed use is not to be adverse to promotion of health, safety, and welfare of the community. As usual, the approval is based on the documents, facts, representations, and stipulations submitted with the application and placed on the record at the public hearing. There are a couple of conditions. Approval of the site plan by the city planner. This is in the I-1 district, so it's an administrative site plan. And continuous compliance with all applicable ordinances, codes, laws, and statutes. The petitioner must perform all work under plans, permits, and final inspections approved by the city of Southfield. And hours of operation, as suggested at the last meeting that we had on this, hours of operation Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Thank you. Looking for a recommendation on PSLU 23-0013 from the commission.
To the chair, I'd like to motion that we accept the favorable recommendation for PSLU 23-0013.
Support.
Okay, we've got a favorable recommendation by Dr. Stevens-Gunn, supported by Commissioner Willis. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right. Moving down Telegraph Road a little further, I think. 23055 Telegraph Road, onto the opposite side.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this is a proposal at sort of at the corner of 9 Mile and Telegraph. It's an L-shaped lot, so it does have frontage on both roads, but doesn't actually occupy the corner itself. It is a vacant branch bank with had a drive-through windows. They're looking to demolish this and redevelop the site for a automatic car wash, conveyor-type car wash. The proposed hours of operation that were discussed at the first meeting this month were Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., Saturday, Sunday, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m., and they might be shorter depending on weather and season, but this was the longer version of the hours. Let's see if I can get this to, there we go. It's just a site aerial here, kind of showing the immediately neighboring properties. You got a little strip center and a drive-through next door. This is the existing building from Telegraph, kind of straight on and a little bit from the north. You got the I-1 industrial in the front, and then you got a strip of P parking in the rear. The current zoning and the future land use is Southfield Technology Corridor like the last site, which the language allows for a variety of support uses or supporting commercial uses. The rezoning when we get to it is only for the I-1 portion. The P parking portion of the site is going to remain as it is. This is the overall site plan. It's colorized to kind of make it a little easier to read. You can see the landscaping, the car stacking, the pavement, and the building. As noted, there are some solar panels up there on the roof toward the back, those 8 rectangles. There are EV charging stations along the north side there, vacuum stations along the building. A little bit closer view. You can see the handicap parking near the actual entrance to go inside. There's bike racks. It is got drains at the exit, and they did establish at the last meeting that area exiting is going to have heated pavement so it doesn't ice up. And we do have a loading area kind of in the bypass lane in the rear. Also, that's the access to the dumpster enclosure. The building itself is pretty standard. You come in on the back side there to the left, and the car wash total takes you out to the front. You got a little customer service area up there toward the front on the north side, some office space, equipment room down both sides. A little more office space, the cashier on the northwest corner, and then that service area. So here's the elevations. These haven't changed since the last meeting. You've got the south elevation, which is facing toward the Taco Bell. It's a landscape area. The west elevation, which is the rear where you'd be entering the car wash. And the north elevation, which is where your vacuum stations are and your EV chargers, and then the east elevation, which is facing Telegraph. We do have an elevation rendering, and I believe the petitioner is present, if they'd come forward.
Please state your names and addresses for the record. Tell us.
Good evening. My name is Jan Rubenstein. I'm an attorney assisting Mr. Dano, the property owner. My address is 30665 Northwestern Highway, Farmington Hills, Michigan, 48334.
Thank you.
So I just wanted to make a couple of comments, and I'll turn this over to Mr. Dano. Also standing to my left is John Gumma. He's the designer of the project. Just wanted to thank you for allowing us to be here tonight. We're hopeful to receive a recommendation for this car wash. This property has not been in use for several years, and the intention is to create a positive revenue-producing, valuable parcel in this spot. It's a unique project, in my opinion. It's got a blend of technology and environmental responsibility. The design was intended to minimize or eliminate any negative impacts to the surrounding community. Standing to my left, as I said, is Art Dano. He's the property owner. He's owned the property since, I believe, 2018.
Actually, it was around
2020, I'm sorry. And John Gumma. Mr. Gumma can probably answer more of the questions on the operational and design features, and Mr. Dano can answer any questions about the property itself and why he wishes to pursue this project.
Okay.
Thank you for your time.
Okay. So we got 2 public hearings on this item?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, you got the rezoning public hearing, which we then act on, and then you would go to the special land use public hearing and then act on that issue, and then the site plan.
Okay. If you guys could step to the side but hang out, there may be questions. At this time, this is a public hearing for the rezoning portion, PZR 23-004. I'll open the public hearing at this time. If anyone would like to come forward and speak on this project, please approach. Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing and open up to the commission for discussion on the rezoning of the site. Dr. Stevens-Gunn?
Well, I have a question, but I'm not sure if it's rezoning a special use.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask the question and then we'll figure it out. My question is, after they come through the automated wash, is it towel dry or is it the kind that just sucks all the water off? Which kind of drying mechanism are you going to be using?
If I could, I'm going to ask you to hold on answering that. That's more of a special land use question. We're just considering the merits of rezoning from I-1 to B3 at this time.
Okay, if it's regarding rezoning, I think it's an excellent use for that current property. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Commissioner Barton?
I also think it's an excellent use for that property.
I have no questions.
Commissioner Gerber?
I have no questions.
No question, it's an excellent property for this.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, it's Telegraph Road. The sites never seem to be zoned for what you want to use them for anyway, so I'd be in favor of rezoning this to a B3 so you can redevelop the site. The Planning Department, do you have a recommendation?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Planning Department recommends favorable recommendation of PZR 23-0004 to rezone 1.25 acres of land, that front portion at 30055 Telegraph Road, from I-1 Industrial to B3 General Business for the following reasons. The Southfield Comprehensive Master Plan indicates the Southfield Technology Corridor designation for this property, which is a mixed-use sub-area, which specifically calls for interspersed commercial to support the planned high-tech office and research intended to be the primary use. The proposed rezoning of the B3 General Business will allow the redevelopment of the vacant former Branch Banks building and site. Additional uses permitted by the rezoning would be compatible with other auto-oriented commercial uses that dominate this part of Telegraph Road.
Thank you. Commission, I'm looking for a motion on the rezoning aspect of the project.
To the chair, I'd like to move that we accept the favorable recommendation for PZR 23-0004.
I second it.
We've got a favorable recommendation by Commissioner Goodwin-Dye, supported by Commissioner Berduty. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None? Thank you. All right, so the rezoning is favorable. Next aspect is the PSLU 23-0019, the special use aspect of this project.
Be to call the public hearing for that would be the
Okay.
next step.
This is another public hearing. As you step to the side, if any public here wishes to speak on this item, please approach. Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Move on to the commission. Dr. Stevens-Gunn, do you have any comments?
Now I can ask my tile dry question.
Good evening. My name is John Gumma, 7419 Middle Belt Road, West Bloomfield. We are responsible for providing these drawings. Yes, it will be towel dried.
You mean, like actual people standing there with towels, or you mean like the rotating drums and the blowers?
No, you, at the end of the tunnel,
Yeah.
after the drums and the blowers, you will have actual people there.
Okay.
Thank you.
Commissioner Martin?
You stated your hours would be to 7 PM, I believe. For the wintertime, I can understand that because of the darkness, but in the summertime, it looks like, you know, you have 8, 9 o'clock before it gets dark. Is there any consideration for changing the hours? We need the hours stated in the,
I don't think we mind extending the hours. You're asking to extend the hours for later in the PM?
well, I'm just asking if you'd be using them beyond
Yes.
7 o'clock in the
We would love
summertime.
to. I really don't know the true.
Yeah, sorry. I'm Art Danner, I'm the owner of the building. We were, in the summer, it'd probably be till 8 o'clock, depending on the sun's still up, so yeah.
The reason I ask is it needs to be stated in the plan, the total hours. So, you know, understand that you can have shorter hours in the winter, but you need to state the maximum hours so that you can vary for season.
Yes, sir. 2 weeks ago when we were here, we did talk a little, we touched a little bit about that, extending the hours in the summer.
Sunset?
Sunset, yeah.
Hours, you have to give time. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yes, and currently, because this is a special land use, yeah, we can regulate the hours. Currently, we're listed at Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., and Saturday through Sunday, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m.
We can stay consistent to 8 p.m. in the weekdays as well during the summer hours.
Okay, I just, when they make the recommendation, it's going to be subject to, you're going to have to be beholden to those hours.
Sure.
So you're asking for 7 a.m. to 8 p.m., basically 7 days a week?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Okay.
That would keep us safe, definitely.
That was all.
Commissioner Willis?
Thank you. I understand when you wash a vehicle, you filter the water and use it to rewash the next car, to a degree.
Yes, it is recycled.
Okay. With the salt or whatever comes off the car, where does that wastewater go?
So there's a lint interceptor in the filtration system that mud, any debris in your wheel well, you know, you may have some mud, and it all gets collected into like a barrel, which is called a lint interceptor, kind of like the gas stations have if there's any overfill when you're fueling your gas and you get a little bit of spillage. And it's a series of filters that collects it before it goes to the recycling filtration system. And then depending on the volume of your station, on the car wash, it's picked up weekly, monthly, something like that, bi-weekly. And that's just like a big drum. Usually you see them steel barrels or
Okay.
plastic barrels.
Okay. None is left on site. It doesn't, there's no threat of it going into groundwater.
No, absolutely not.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Gruber?
No questions.
Goodwin-Dye?
I'm looking at the diagram. I brought this up last time. You have right at the end of the car wash where they're coming out, you have 2 arrows, directional arrows coming into the drive. That's not going to cause a problem?
No, because you kind of like train your customers to, you still have to have 2 arrows on the end if somebody's coming to get a complimentary vacuum, and then they don't want to get a car wash and they just exit. But most of your, I would say 95% of your people come in, vacuum, back up, and go through the tunnel.
Back up and go through the tunnel? That means they...
I mean, you know, like come in and go through the tunnel to come out.
They have to go out on the street and come all the way back around?
No, there is no street. You circulate around.
Okay. What I'm seeing is these 2 arrows here. This is at the end, right? This is where they're coming out, correct? Yes.
No, they come out
No,
down
that's
here.
the end.
This is the exit.
The out is to the right.
Exit
exits out of
This is entry.
That's entry, okay.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
then I'm reading it wrong.
Yes.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Commissioner Bernuti?
No questions. I'm looking forward to it, though.
Thank you.
My question is probably a mix of site plan and special use, but there's been several car washes lately come through the city. This one looks a little different, at least in color of the building. Can you maybe expound upon like the features of this car wash? I know you had some green features like solar panels I thought were kind of interesting. And just explain a little bit more why another car wash, why the type of car wash that you're proposing, just to help understand.
So this is a full-service car wash. You have many options as far as depends what kind of package you either can pay for monthly or a per-use basis. You can go in there and get your car wash fully detailed interior. Uber and all that's all very popular now. So they go in there and they get their car detailed from the inside and it's all sanitary, sanitized, clean, vacuumed, and then it goes through the tunnel to get it washed. Or you can just go straight through the car wash for a wash only. Yes, we do have EV chargers. We do have solar panels. We're trying to be ahead of the game here. Energy efficiency. At the end of the tunnel, we have a boiler system that is heated pavement. So like a couple of weeks ago, 22 below zero, all that salt that's in your car, and when the vehicle comes out of the tunnel, it's dripping water and it's 22 below wind chill, it freezes up instantly. So that's a heated pavement with a trench drain in there, so all the excess water goes into that trench drain and it gets recycled and goes out as well. We're going to have the vacuums for the vehicles are uniquely designed, so it has one big kind of like a suction vacuum that's inside the facility that we don't have individual vacuums at each individual station in a sense. You have collectors at the station, but the main sound of it, called suction, is inside the building, so it's a very quiet type of vacuum.
That's interesting. That's the first we've heard that.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
It's kind of like a big compressor in the building. That's the word I was looking for.
All right.
And if I can just chime in, Mr.
Yeah.
Chairman. Sorry, John. I've owned the building for some time. There's been absolutely no movement. I've maintained it, the outside, because I'm real particular with that, and kept it, nice and clean and organized, and I just feel like it's a great spot for it, especially coming off of 9 Mile as well as Telegraph, and I think it'll definitely be a positive asset to the city.
Cool.
So, appreciate it.
Yeah, there's a lot of vacant banks around that need to be reused somehow or rebuilt or redeveloped, so I think
Can I ask a
Commissioner
question? Just out of curiosity, are you hoping this will be the first of several car washes?
That's the plan.
Okay.
So without getting ahead of myself.
Okay, I was
yeah,
just
yes.
curious. Okay,
Definitely the
'cause
plan.
we have a lot of empty banks in Southfield, as you said. So.
Definitely the
Okay.
We also have a lot of car washes. We have a lot of car washes.
I know, we have a lot of, we were talking
of
about that
cars.
last week. We're going to have the cleanest cars in Michigan, right here in Southfield.
Absolutely. I know there's more like 12 Mile area, bigger ones and stuff. There's one on 10 Mile, which is really small. So this will be.
Yeah, okay. I was just curious. Thank you.
No, you're welcome. Thank you.
If I may, through the chair, just for my own curiosity, do you plan on having the vacuums free use or membership only?
Complimentary.
Okay.
Mr. Wills?
Mark?
You have a question?
Yeah, you mentioned detailing. Where is the detailing going to be done for the interior?
If you go to the floor plan, if you don't mind, please.
There we go.
Right there. So that tunnel, you have where it says 5,245, right there, yes. So the cars would go to the side. The tunnel actually the car wash tunnel doesn't actually start until about where that A is going to be, between the G and the A. That's where the actual physical washing starts. So they would maneuver to the right, where that 5,245 is, and they would be hand detailed in there. and then they would go into the circulation of the stacking of the tunnel.
So in essence, you're saying there's two, an exterior car wash car for wash could continue straight and detail and come to the right and,
You would get your car detailed first, and then it would go through the tunnel.
okay, while wash only would continue straight
Correct, you
through
just
without the
continue on.
detail. Okay.
Yes.
Through the chair, I'm going to ask that you provide a little more detail before this goes to council.
Yeah.
So you can show a couple
Yeah.
parking spaces, show where the beginning of the car wash is and the exit.
Detailed floor plan a little bit more?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, you need to show that split so that, because
Sure.
when you said detail that time,
Right.
you know, we didn't, I don't think we were familiar with the detailing in the prior meeting.
Sure, and we'll verify if that is still the case.
Okay.
There's
And-
not,
Go ahead. And with detailing, I assume that the customer will stay in the vehicle while you're detailing, or they're
No,
out?
that's
So-
where the customer service area is. You have two areas of customer service area. You have the bottom left-hand corner where the cashier is.
Okay.
That staging area, that's kind of like, if you want to call it a lounge, waiting room. And that's how they go in, and after your car is detailed, you would go back into your car and go through the tunnel.
Okay, so
this is like a lounge.
at the entrance by the cashier, the doorway at the cashier, that's where you're gonna get out your car?
That's your lounge, correct.
And that's where you wait while your car goes through the detailing. And after it's detailed on the inside, you exit and get back in your car and then go through the rest of the wash?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You need to show that that's a lounge area, some area for the people to wait. Is there a laboratory there for customers that are in? You're bringing up things now that we hadn't thought about
Sure.
because we weren't aware of the detailing.
Sure.
Leonard Road, you had a question?
So-
Comment?
Yeah, I'll let the commission finish.
Yeah,
then I'll-
so is there a laboratory near the detailing area?
I will
Okay.
confirm that we are going to have the detailing. If there is, and I will provide that.
It looks
updated
like
plan.
there's a restroom up at that customer service
Yeah.
area.
Yeah, but they're detailing.
I understand.
Yeah.
That's one of my concerns is
Yeah.
that,
Yeah,
one, that's not labeled, and then if someone's getting out, how do they get over there safely? And it
'Cause
looks
we're-
like there's only doors from the outside. We need more detail on
sure.
this.
We're not really 100% confirmed with the detailing, but we will by the next, and if we are, I'll have a detailed floor plan.
Well, the problem we have is, we have to approve it before it goes to the next process.
Gotcha.
So if we don't have all the details, if we don't have the i's dotted and the t's crossed.
No detail.
We're not gonna,
And again, you could recommend postponing to a date certain
No detailing.
after we're on. Well, we're still going to need more clarification on that. That plan is just, that's one of my concerns. It's not very clear how things are going to operate.
Okay.
I'm done.
What I'm hearing as a concern is there's gonna be a bunch of cars and a bunch of people detailing all on the parking lot, and now it turns into outdoor
This is
storage.
not- there- we're no
and it just
detailing.
looks kinda trashy or whatever. I don't think that's the
And
concern.
I'm concerned about the flow now. With cars continuing, cars pulling off to the side, how passengers or customers are safely going to get to these two areas. I don't think that's very clear.
I think everybody's right, if I may, and Ernest just mentioned that, the detailing was sort of ancillary to the main project. The main part of this project is an automated car wash. So he's willing to forego any detailing if it alleviates any concerns.
Through the chair, it's not that we're saying eliminate it, we're saying explain how this is going to work better in the interior. You still have this big open space that's unidentified. You stated that the internal car washing system is going to start about A, and it's not clear on this. The other customer service area, you have two exterior ingress and egress doors that don't have any access to the interior. Just there's some questions here with the flow. And one of the things that I was going to raise, both positive and question-wise, is it looks like you're going to have a heated concrete exit area so to prevent ice. Is the equipment sophisticated enough that if there's some stacking, could you go to that site plan, Mr. Payson? Yep, next one. So if there's some stacking on the exit there of the elbow, does the machine automatically shut down from the
Absolutely,
inside?
yes.
And then we've seen enough car washes. I think Mr. Martin touched on it a little bit. What's the percentage of water that gets recycled? And then how many gallons of water are you going through in a typical day versus what's the average water usage? These are some things that others have brought up about, hey, we're way ahead of the industry standard. We only use this amount of water versus the average. We recycle 90% of the water. There's always some wastage. I think it's worth taking a pause just to get a clear understanding of how the interior is going to work. I know that you've got this one-way flow off of 9 Mile. Those trucks are going to come in, and then the hours of operation for delivery and drop off, because I can see there's a conflict point. We usually just want to have a better comfort level on the way this thing is going to internally operate and as cars are exiting, and I don't think it's very clear from your floor plan. And then I'd like to get some additional information on that water usage. Number of gallons, what's the average? How much is recycled? Because these are all questions that the council will be asking as well. And I thank you for letting me bring this up. It wasn't clear earlier, at least on my initial review of the floor plan, how this was going to operate on the inside. And again, you could move this forward subject to us trying to administratively get all these answers. We got a quick turnaround with council. I think it'd be better to pause, get all the answers done, make sure it's clear before you make a recommendation.
To the chair.
Just one quick before I forget my point. This looks like is this a Tommy's car wash? Is this like a national prototype that these floor plan questions are already answered? Is that?
No, it is not Tommy's. Similar.
Okay. Is Tommy's the red? This looks like a Tommy's, right? Okay, sorry. Dr. Stevens again.
Planner Crowd, my concern is that all of the questions that we raised today will delay this project at least another month unless we make some modifications or approve some modifications moving forward. I think these gentlemen have worked very, very hard to put together a package. If there's a way that the department can work with them in order for them to continue to at least be moving forward, I would like to hear if that is an option, because if they have to go back, we're looking at a whole nother month, at least a month.
Again, as I stated, that is an option. You could defer, you can move this forward subject to us administratively trying to get these answers settled. It just, February is an unusual month with the council. They have 2 meetings the first 2 weeks, and then they don't meet again until March. And it's a very quick turnaround, and as it is, if we advertise, we're going to have to advertise at a study meeting to get this public hearing on. And with all due respect, and I appreciate the fact that you're trying to develop this, and we have received a number of phone calls over the years about different things. Unless, especially with you being the owner, I think slowing down by 1 month is not the end of the world for you moving forward, and I'd rather have these questions answered. This is televised, the meeting minutes go to the council, and we certainly have the ability professionally to do this, but with such a quick turnaround, we're basically 1 week away from, 1 week from Monday, presenting this to council again.
Yeah, it would appear on council's February 5th agenda, so it's not a lot of time.
And so, yes, I'm very conscious about time is money and moving things along, but there is a time when a pause is worth the pause. We want this to be successful moving forward. And again, my recommendation would be to postpone to a date certain. but you certainly could move this forward, subject to our review. It's going to be at council a week from tomorrow, or Monday.
A week from Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry if I can say something. We've been pretty proactive with Thomas, and, John's been great, so is Jan, getting stuff over in a timely manner and what have you, so.
Dr. Stevens, got to refinish?
I'm done.
Commissioner Martin?
You mentioned that there's heated space coming out of the car wash, collect the bottom drainage, because even with tile drying, you're not getting all the water off the car, and there's a grid for water to go into. Will that water be collected? Is that part of the recycling process also? And if so, you need to include that so that it's known in the process also.
The answer is yes, it would be recycled, and I will include that.
I hate to bring up all these things, but when you look at it, it really, the detailing threw everything off, because that brings up all the different concerns that come out. And that, we're trying to do the best we can for the citizens of Southfield, and we came up with the question, so there we go. I'm done.
So, Commissioners, any other comments?
Yeah. I'm in agreement with Mr. Crode, because you want to set yourself apart from everybody else, and that detailing sets you apart from everybody else. And to stop for a second and put that plan together would set you apart from a lot of the other ones. And I think it would be well worth your money for that.
Again, we made a comment about the number of car washes that are coming through Planning Commission and Council. We actually had 3 requests this week. We met with a potential new car wash, and these questions are valid questions that the Council and the Commission and ourselves have concerns on. And as Commissioner said, this offering the detailing is a unique piece to what we've heard. And again, I think it's in your best interest to slow this down. But we'll defer to the Planning Commission. We certainly can work with you. It's just a quick turnaround. You'll have to get your plans in right away.
Yeah, we would have to, council would be a week from Monday. We would need stuff for the council packets by next Thursday.
And
We'd
we
have
would
to
need
get
it
vet
beforehand
and provide
for us
it.
to review.
Yeah. So we need it as soon as possible, like tomorrow or Friday.
Really, by the end of this week, we would need revised plans.
Yeah. It's the floor plan we need revised, though, mainly.
The floor plan.
Yeah. If we don't have it by Friday, it probably isn't a workable time frame.
So,
I'm sorry if I can say something.
Go ahead.
He said that he can have it by Friday, if that helps, so.
okay. So I'm going to leave it up to the majority of the commission. Do you want to postpone to a date certain, which would be next month? Do you want to allow the option to move forward with sending the revised drawings to the planning department? That's the 2 choices that I'm hearing. Now, do we need to listen to the recommendation before we decide on that, or do we?
Well, I would say if you want to move it forward, subject to us, we can read the recommendation into the record. If you're going to just postpone to a date certain, there's no need to do that at this time.
You might want to just call for the question on whether or not to postpone to a date certain and see if there's any, if there's motion and support.
So just take a poll. Who is, Commissioner Martin, do you have?
I have just a question now.
Okay.
You're saying that if they provide the stuff, that the planning department is going to review it, or is it coming back to the commission?
That's what you're deciding. Do you want to postpone it to a date certain and have them come back to you? Or you could recommend moving forward based on our recommendations with the additional condition that you defer to us to administratively review the interior floor plan prior to council. Because again, it's unusual that council has 2 meetings in the beginning of February and they don't have another meeting till March. So it's a quick turnaround. And again, we're able to accommodate either schedule. If you recall, we postponed that previous gas station liquor because we didn't have enough information.
Yeah.
So again, I don't understand what the sense of urgency is for 1 month. But we're prepared to do whatever commission is inclined to recommend.
Okay. So to the commission, who is in favor of moving forward with the condition that the planning department reviews the revised drawings next week? Yes or no? Does that make sense? Who's in favor of moving this as scheduled with the review to the planning department? I'm looking for a yes on that. We'll just go in line. Dr. Stevens gone?
No.
Mr. Martin? No. Wills?
Yes.
Mr. Gruber?
Yes.
So now I gotta start doing that.
Sorry.
2 and 2.
No.
No. So 3 no's.
No.
4.
Okay, that's it.
So it's
Do
tied.
any more math?
So I have to, oh wait, it's 4
No,
no's?
It's 4
Yeah.
no's, you're good.
I'm good at math normally, not today.
So then, can you give them the date? Then you
Yeah,
should
it'd be-
recommend postponing to a date certain.
February 28th would be the next
Okay.
regular meeting of the planning commission.
So the majority has spoken, we're gonna recommend postponing this to a date certain of February, whatever you just said. So I'm gonna look for that motion from the commission now.
Did you say February 20th?
28th.
28.
Yep, that's the next regular meeting. You have a study meeting on the 7th, the CIP study meeting on the 21st, and a regular meeting on the 28th.
So this is for PSLU 230019, the special land use.
And you, if you wanted to, you could add the site plan review as part of that motion.
Okay. So we're gonna also add the postponing the site plan review, which is PSP 23-0019, to the date certain of February 28th. So I'm looking for that motion from the commission.
To the chair,
Yes.
motion we postpone to a date certain PSR 23-0004 and PSLU 23-0019 to a date certain of February 28th, 2024.
Support.
I would intervene, you already voted on
We
the
already voted on the
rezoning.
rezoning.
You'd be postponing the
I'm
PSLU and the
sorry.
PSP.
Sorry, number 2 and number 3 on the.
Sorry, I
Special
didn't,
use
Yeah.
yeah, I'm sorry,
site plan review.
yeah. Let me correct that to PSLU 23-0019 and PSP 23-0019 to date certain.
No, still support that.
You support? Yes. Okay, so a motion to postpone to the date certain by Commissioner Martin, second by Commissioner Willis for both items, PSLU 23-0019 and PSP 23-0019. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Yes, I'm opposed. 6-1. So please be in contact with the planning department to resolve all the items we've discussed tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, meeting minutes for December 6th and 13th.
We were looking for actual approval of these minutes, as this is your regular meeting for the December minutes today.
Any updates, any corrections?
No, I'm no longer.
Do we have a motion to approve the minutes as written?
Motion to approve the December 6th, 2023 study meeting and the December 13th regular meeting, I'm sorry, December 13th, 2023 regular meeting of the Planning Commission.
Yeah, just before the support, they've already been signed, and they signed at the time by the secretary.
Yeah, we just have to cross through and have
Okay, I'm good.
Ms. Gruber sign.
Thank you.
Okay.
Do you support?
I support.
Okay, so we got a favorable recommendation on the minutes by Commissioner Martin, supported by Commissioner Willis. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Done. All right. Now is the public comment portion of the meeting. If any person from the public would like to address the commission. Oh, we have the sign-in list that we have to go? Okay, so we do have a sign-in list. First name Mike Semi. Mike here.
He was an applicant.
He was, okay, so, no. Next, Hussein Adel Hussein. Jan Ruskin, he was just at the front. Randy Simona. Okay. Come on up, state your name and address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes to speak.
Raheem Sabius, 25030 Southfield Road, the owner of New Abbey Wine and Liquor Shop. Respectfully, I disagree with the proof that 24848 Southfield got. The commission asked the petitioner if there was any pushback from neighboring businesses. And they respond with no, and that is not true. I own a neighboring business, and we try to reach out to them, and then with no response. And with the section here, with the section 5169, the use permit subject special approval with this standards F and G. So last time we had a bunch of community here, people, and they said no because of the traffic, of the safety, and all the businesses in that block, they close at 11 p.m., no more than that because of the safety and the crimes that happened there. CVS used to open 24 hours, and now they just cut their hours because of that. A lot of people, they come from neighbor cities with the problems. One of my store was, they tried to broke in, I think was last year or 2 years, 5 in the morning. And Southfield, it's a highway, and it's easy to do whatever and just get out of the city so quick from there. At the gas station, about the traffic, at the gas station, there is a sign, no turn on red, because it's too much traffic there. It's so hard to get in and out from there. And either the north side, it's so hard because whoever's coming heading west, going south, there is a lot of traffic there. And I had some pictures, and you guys know. And sir, you mentioned last time, you don't use Southfield gas stations. Me either. I'm here every day, but too much traffic. And last time they said it's going to raise the business 10%. I think liquor is a game changer, so it's going to be more than that. Thank you.
Perfect timing. Thank you. And members of the public, please state your name and address. Who's controlling that?
How y'all doing today? My name is Leo Kearney. I'm at 22400 Lather Boulevard. As far as the gas station on the corner, for its square footage, I mean, you know, y'all said that it had to be a certain amount of this and this. I just want to ask, what is the square footage of a liquor store? Because you got one up here off of 10 Mile, right in the corner, and it's small. And this gas station is smaller than what a liquor store is supposed to be. So is this gas station going to be a gas station, or is it going to be for the sale of pop or liquor? Because it can't fill up both. And where I stay at, like he was saying, as far as the space, It's not a space, it's not enough space. You got the liquor store here, then you got a restaurant behind it. And far as the building here, as far as space, this is about how big the gas station is as far as cars coming in and going out. And it's gonna be more tragedy than anything else, because if y'all drink liquor or whatnot, and people try to come in and they wanna run in and grab a bottle after they get off work, or grab a beer when they get off work, and if they come into that gas station, it's gonna be more accidents there than anything else, because people don't really think when they want what they want. So I'm more or less like concerned about my community as far as is it gonna be more accidents here, or it's gonna be more thefts here, or whatever else. So it's just my concern about the liquor store on the corner. You got, just like the little shopping center, somebody burned that up as far as where we used to get our Chinese food from and everything else. So who's to say, hey, I'm pissed off at somebody else because I can't get a bottle of liquor, I'm gonna throw something in to burn this liquor store down. So, and it's more or less like up and down. I mean, you already got a liquor store here. You already got a place across the street that you can get beer from. And then you're gonna try to put a liquor store in a gas station where you know how it is too, when you're getting gas. Somebody cut you off, get in front of you, it's complications. So now you got a liquor store here, I'm trying to get liquor, and then you don't cut me off, keep me from getting liquor. It's gonna be a problem. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have anyone else on the list?
No, no one on the list was here. There was 4 people on the list, and or they all presented, I think is who it was. Please state your name and address for the record.
Deborah Walton Medley. My address is 17252 Hilton Street. And I just wanted to come in and see what the Planning Commission was all about and see what type of discussions that were held. And lo and behold, you're having a conversation about liquor in my neighborhood, right at my corner. So I wanted to add my input and say that I would not like to have liquor being sold at the gas station at 10 Mile in Southfield. As was previously stated, it's too much traffic. There's other venues that sell alcohol there. When you are traveling on 10 Mile at the light to go south on Southfield, the traffic backs up. There's no reasonable exit for a lot of traffic to come out of that gas station. What ends up happening is people come out of the gas station, they go and make right, and they go down Lathrop. So now you're going to have folks that are buying alcohol, driving through the neighborhood, impacting the residents in that neighborhood, children in that neighborhood, just so that they can get back to Southfield Road or to go through a different direction, because most often folks are trying to drive either northbound or southbound on Southfield Road. And 10 Mile gets very heavy, especially also when there are accidents on 696. People tend to jump off at Greenfield, come down 10 Mile to get to Southfield. It's too much traffic, and it just would be horrible. So I just wanted to give my input.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, please state your name and address.
Andy Atisha, 25,000 Southfield, up to 100. I'm the owner of the plaza, cross street from the gas station. There is liquor license, it's going to be 3 liquor license, which is too much. And there is also a dollar store, which is closed right now. And it's too many license in one corner. That's like in 300 feet around. And I don't see it anywhere else. It'll be 4. That's too many. Anywhere in Southfield or anywhere in Detroit, there is not that many licenses. Or in Michigan. That's too many licenses. That's why I'm going against it, because I don't like to have my property value less with people hanging around and drinking and, asking for money, give me quarter, give me $1. That's too much. And that's why I'm against it. I like to have the value property goes up, not drop it down with alcoholic people. Thank you.
Excuse me, sir, could you give me the address of your retail again? Are you to the north or west?
I'm a unique lady, the plaza. Right across the street.
Right across the street.
Yeah, and it goes up to the barber shop and perfume.
Is there a liquor store in your retail?
Yes, there is a liquor
Okay.
store already.
All right, when you said across the street, I was a little confused.
From the gas station.
Okay, so you're the one with the existing liquor store?
Right.
Okay, thank you.
I'm not the owner, I'm the landlord.
No, I understand now. I just, when you said across the street, I was thinking about the, where they had the fire.
There's CVS.
Yeah, I got it now,
Dollar-
thank you.
Yeah, dollar store.
Anyone else from the public like to speak? Please state your name and address for the record.
Hello, my name is Rita Terry, 18231 Fillmore, Southfield, Michigan, 48075. I've been a resident of Southfield for over 43 years, and I respectfully decline having a liquor license at that gas station. Basically, I see people walking through my neighborhood in the middle of the night. And I think when the summer comes, there are going to be people parking in parking lots surrounding that gas station, drinking, and Southfield is already overburdened with crime as it is, and I don't think that by that gas station being the only thing that's going to be open that time of night, and that's going to bring extra problems and extra unnecessary trouble to the area where we don't need that situation, and to have Southfield to be overburdened, to have to already deal with the trouble that we're dealing with, and then to have to come and deal with people that's going to be parking and drinking, that we do not need. We're trying to keep Southfield safe and not have it to be overridden with people drinking and doing unnecessary partying, and then we're going to have to deal with robberies and everything else. So I respectfully think that we do not need to have them open at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning selling alcohol to people that is going to be committing crimes and robbing and breaking into people's homes. Thank you.
Any additional public comments? Please state your name and address for the record.
Darrell Laurie, 24535 North Carolina Street, 48075. Like everyone was saying, by them gonna have a liquor license in our community, it's not gonna work. You have New Abbey, you have CVS, and then you want to have a gas station selling liquor in the same community. There's no, traffic is just too big. It's accidents all the time. We got people flying up and down, Southfield, 10 miles, we don't need it. Our community really don't need it. Thank you.
Thank you. I believe that's all the public present. Any additional comments?
Hello, my name is Randy Simona. My address is 4196 15 Mile Road in Sterling Heights, Michigan. Here on behalf of the owner of the establishment, also here on behalf of my aunt who lives at 586 Selkirk Street in Southfield. She doesn't speak English. I've spoken with her about this issue with regards to...
Sir?
Yes.
Yeah, could the members of the public please respect the speaker? Thank you.
Thank you, I appreciate that. So, again, respectfully, we disagree with the commission's decision today to approve the proposed special use and site plan with regards to the gas station that's asking to add liquor located over at 24848 Southfield Road. Again, just making some comparisons, I was listening to the hearing that was held today with regards to the car wash, and Madam explained that you were very excited for that business to open. I just didn't feel that sentiment when the gas station asking for liquor was up before this commission. It didn't seem like it was anything that was in the interest of the citizens of the city of Southfield. And sir, that was one of the points that you had made when you were talking to the car wash. You want to do what's best for the citizens of the city of Southfield. With all respect to the petitioner in this matter, his reasons for adding liquor to the establishment are all self-serving. There's nothing that would benefit the city of Southfield. I'm sure there would be tax revenue, but again, it's really at the detriment of the citizens of the city of Southfield. And again, there was just, I looked at the points that are there, and point number 4 with regards to the criteria specifically says, the proposed use is of such character and the vehicular traffic generated will not have an adverse effect or be detrimental to the surrounding land uses or adjacent thoroughfares. And on the 13th, citizens of Southfield came in spades to really establish that point. Again, I respect the decision that was made today. However, given the, and I don't know what information was presented before the commission or if there was any role in the commission in looking at what the traffic patterns were or what the alcohol outlet density is and how it affects certain surrounding residents. A lot of it, I guess, begs for transparency in the process with regards to really explaining how each of those listed criteria was met. On the 13th, and even as of today, I just heard, the list and just saying that this business meets these requirements, but there was the burden of proof wasn't really met. It's just, again, there may be documents that I haven't been made privy to, but residents of the city of Southfield came today to express their thoughts, and on the 13th, and they really oppose, so I hope you consider that. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, at this time, we will close the public comment portion of the meeting. And we are down to the council items update.
There hasn't been a council meeting since your last meeting, so I don't have any specific council items to report.
Miscellaneous, the Planning Commission annual report first.
Good evening. Many of you have seen a similar presentation before, but wanted to do this for the benefit of the public. And before we submit this to the City Council, but the Michigan Planning Enabling Act requires that a planning commission shall make an annual written report to the legislative body concerning its operations and the status of planning activities, including recommendations regarding actions by the legislative body related to planning and development. Our organization on the left is the members of the Planning Commission. On the right are the Planning Department team. Mr. Payson was added in May as Mr. Spence, who had been here 32 years, retired, and Mr. Bolin moved from a part-time probational to a full-time team member of the Planning Department. In 2023, there was 24 Planning Commission meetings held, including 10 study meetings, 12 regular meetings, and 2 long-range meetings. In addition to that, Planning Department staff supported 10 City Center Advisory Board meetings, 10 Southfield Public Art Commission meetings, 5 Sustainable Southfield Advisory Board meetings, and 6 Zoning Board of Appeal meetings with commercial cases. There are a number of zoning ordinance amendments. As you're aware, I'll just highlight a few. One of the big ones is the Northland Overlay Development District expanded to include 16025 Northland Drive, which is the Costco Business Center, which is the first of its kind in Michigan and has its grand opening tomorrow at 7 a.m. as a ribbon cutting, if you're so inclined to go. We also dealt with liquor sales at gas stations per City Council's direction. Exterior ice chests, fence regulations were updated. We added heavy equipment sales and rental as a special use in the industrial district. We amended the ordinance to allow for public art to be permitted in the front yard. We also updated the standards for smoking lounge and a number of other amendments. Planning Commission and department activities also include a joint visioning session with the Planning Commission and City Council last April. We intend to have another one this spring. Our yearly capital improvement plan update, which we'll have on your schedule for next month. And then our department, in the last year and a half, has really seen a major transition from institutional knowledge and people who have been here 20, 30 years to some new staff, bringing some new ideas and perspective. We held our second successful LTU summer camp, and we plan to have a third one this year. And issues with regards to keeping of chickens, we are investigating urban agriculture and other professional offices permitted in the B zoning. Another item that we did kind of outside the norm, Mr. Wyckoff, who used to write planning and zoning news for decades, retired, and he made a donation of all his archives and magazines to Grand Valley State University. That included a couple historical planning documents for the city of Southfield. So they reached out to us and said, do you have any additional material that you would like to donate to the archives that we'll make available to the public, to the world, to any researchers? And in my 13-and-a-half-year tenure, I've been finding old copies of things in corner offices. Former Councilman Fracassi would drop things off. We never had a real unified library of historic documents. When we were trying to investigate why certain things were a certain way in zoning, we were able to compile this comprehensive list of historic documents and deliver them to the university, and we will continue making duplicates or sending extra copies to expand their library, and they're very appreciative of this. But this was also a good exercise for us to be able to compile all the documents from my predecessors forward. We also, through the help of Suzanne Hanna, who's leading our sustainability outreach, she held several internal sustainability task force meetings made up of employees from various departments, external sustainability community advisory board made up of various stakeholders. She helped with promotion and outreach, updated the Sustainable Southfield website, launched a public survey, coordinated with Lawrence Tech staff on a student survey, brought the Make Food Not Waste pilot program to the city of Southfield. We are the first ones in the state of Michigan, I believe in the country, being funded by the EPA and Eagle, and we're going to be the test pilot for reducing food waste. We handed out reusable grocery bags and bamboo kitchen as swag to encourage recycling, applied for DTE Tree Energy grant, signed up for EV Smart program. They assisted with the monarch butterfly sculpture and pollinator garden at Eaton Corp. Another pilot program that we had an update on today is the APT solar bollards that are motion activated and solar powered. There's 20 of them as shown along the City Center Trail, and they're getting invaluable information from us. They said we were a great partner, and they're learning an awful lot. And we hope that if this is successful, that once they get manufactured and upgraded based on the study, that we'll continue putting these throughout the city. Another focus of ours has been improving pedestrian enhancements and encouraging public transit usage through pedestrian amenities, including additional accessible pavement, benches, trash receptacles, 11 new respite areas along our pathways were installed. We talked about the solar bollards, 3 additional bike repair stations and 3 additional dog treat stations were installed. And then we take training and education very serious. I attended the National Planning Conference in Philadelphia, a list of workshops and tours that I attended. We presented at the National Brownfield Conference, and we talked about the Northland redevelopment, which was very well received. We also presented at the SEMCOG General Assembly meeting, several Oakland County events, and then a number of our team attended the Michigan Association of Planning annual conference, as well as a number of webinars on transportation, planning, zoning, and so forth. With regard to activities, we had 1 rezoning process, 4 conditional rezonings process, 17 special land use, 19 site plans, 1 overlay development district, 6 text amendments, and 46 administrative site plans process. Our total proposed development cost was about $78 million. Now that was down from 2022, but Middle Point project across the street represented $250,000 of that $300 million. So we really had a net increase of about 50% of development costs. And I'll just quickly highlight some of the major projects. We had the Clean Express Car Wash, Culver's Restaurant, Habitat for Humanity's duplex. We had the Northland Storage ODD, which took the former AT&T building and repurposed that with potential outparcel mixed-use development in the future. Jasmine Square, many of you who have been around for a while, we've seen many different attempts to find a viable alternative for that vacant property, and hopeful that Jasmine Square will move forward. McAllister Machinery relocated their headquarters here on Telegraph Road, and we made an amendment to allow for that type of use. We had the Matic Auto Wash, repurposing an old antiquated used car dealership. And then we had new gas station on Northwestern and 12 Mile. We also, former Baco restaurant, approved as a cigar bar and private club. And then our DPW is building a new storage building. We made sure that the use was in compliance with the ordinance and that they got their first site plan approval in 50 years. And then as far as initiatives this year, I'll just do a high level. There are housing, including accessory dwelling units and tiny homes we'll be looking at. Emphasis on missing middle housing. Reuse and mixed use. Continuing to develop our trail network, including the 9 Mile Greenway Corridor and the Rouge River Trail. Green Road beautification, we're working in partnership with Oak Park and our new DDA director. We're also working with Parks and Rec on a dog park. We have several zoning amendments that we'll mention, including urban agriculture. We'll be reviewing and reporting to the legislative committee coming up here in February, end of January. And then review of potential consolidation of similar zoning districts that Mr. Payson's been working on. And then to continue being eligible for redevelopment ready certification, we also be presenting elimination of the site plan review at the council level and having planning commission have the ability to do that. And we are also going to be scheduling a joint visioning session with the city council sometime this spring, early summer. I had Mr. Payson add this. We're constantly trying to keep track of trends. And this 7 trends are things that have been compiled by the National Planning Association to let all local planners know what's coming down the pipe. So we're not surprised to find out that the whole office worker thing has changed, but I heard this morning that they're saying about 50% now of office workers are coming back 5 days a week. But there is, in many cases, a lot of hybrid, and young professionals still prefer the flexibility of working from home. They don't like the long commute. So that hasn't changed. Climate-related displacement. Every time we turn on the news nowadays, you see of major floods, major snow, major storms, and that's impacting all of us, even in places that never had that before. We're seeing more auto-centric planning, driving inequities. Made in America is making a comeback. Even rebirth of extinct species. We're trying to promote the regrowth of population of our monarch butterfly, who's seen a 90% decline. And everything we've read has found that urban way stations and urban gardens are the best way to protect and grow the pollinators, because the land has pretty much already been developed, and we don't use the type of pesticides that have been killing off our pollinators like we do in some of our rural areas. And then robotics are becoming a part of our everyday life, from food delivery to nursing to other things. So we're constantly keeping an eye on national and global trends, and to stay flexible and be proactive at the local level. So that with that, that's our summary. With your blessing, we hope to present this at one of the February Planning Commission or Council meetings, and I'd be happy to answer any questions or take comments from you at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Mark?
Excuse me. On page 8, there's a comment from Michigan Association of Planning, whereas Commissioners Bermudi and Mark, would you please remove that line? It's the only line where individuals on the planning commission are listed, and there's no need. When I provided that information about the training session we attended, I just identified to go along with the documentation that was provided. Didn't want us to be pointed out. No one is listed in the other comments.
Yes, sir. Did you get that, Mr. Payson?
Yes, I do. I see the line right there.
Other than that, I think the report's good.
Dr. Stevens, good?
Planner Crowd, on your planning commission meeting list, could you add the joint meeting that we had with the city council? I think that was a very good meeting, and I'd like for us for that meeting to be included.
Okay. It is included under our department activities, but we'll move it under the number of meetings that we had for the year.
Yeah, thank you.
Page 3, or page 5, item C under planning commission meetings.
Correct.
One joint meeting with city council.
Yes, please. Thank you.
So it's currently under 2023 Planning Commission department activities, and we should move that.
Yeah.
Under the different types of meetings that we've had.
There we go. Dr. Stevens, gun, were you finished?
Yes, I'm
Okay. Mr. Wills, any comments? Mr. Gruber?
Good job, thank you.
Yes, sir. Mr. Bernuti, any comments?
Yes, thank you. First of all, thank you so much for the report. I wanted to make a comment to the Parks and Recreation Department. I've had a garden at Mary Thompson for over 20 years. And last year, they made so many improvements that were so noticeable to all of the gardeners there. In addition, they added a beekeeper, and she had several boxes there. And over the fall, she was able to do an event in my building with all of the honey that she brought, and she said that she had been providing it to other areas around here. So it's just a really positive thing that I'm sure when the rest of the residents find out that she's right in the garden producing honey, it's a win-win thing. So I'd just like for you to let them know we
Yeah, thank
really
you for
appreciate
bringing
it.
that to our attention. We'll let Ms. Hannah know about it too, but I did hear about that.
Commissioner Goodwin, I skipped over you. Did you have any comments?
No.
Okay. Yeah, great job as always. Very, very thorough, and a lot happens in a year. Yeah. In a big city, so it's always good to see. There's been a lot of changes over the decade plus I've been seeing this, and it's always interesting the way, all these 7 need-to-know trends is real interesting too to think about. But yeah, every year, something you never thought of in the past is coming at us.
Yeah, again, I think that what we do here sometimes is only the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes. And we've had to deal with the Great Recession recently, the pandemic, and then just exponential change in the way we do business, e-commerce, replacing the brick and mortar store, automated and autonomous vehicles and how they're changing things, our work-life balance, home occupations. It just, I've said this, in the last 10 years, has been exponentially more growth and change than my previous 35 years in the business. So we continue to try to do our best we can to be fluid and keep us relevant and be proactive so that we can be as strong and as vital of a community as anyone else. Thank you.
Thank you.
We were looking for a motion to approve the plan and refer it to council with the noted changes, if we could get that.
Who would like to make that motion?
I'm sorry, what was
Refer
that?
the plan to, we need to make a favorable motion to send this.
This is your report, so you can actually just approve this and then refer it to council. It's more of a receive and file, but Mr. Planner Code is going to represent there as well.
Okay, so we're looking for a motion to approve the annual report?
Yep, this is your report. Under the law, it is your authority to approve the annual report. And then you refer it to council.
Commissioner Martin.
I move that we support or pass the report, our annual report, with any necessary changes.
I second.
All right, we've got a favorable motion by Commissioner Goodwin Dye, supported by Dr. Stevens Gunn. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right.
Thank you.
So we've already done the election of officers, obviously, in the beginning. There's a planning commission study meeting, February.
I do need you to approve an amendment to the planning commission schedule. It is in your book. We had to change the May schedule because there were conflicts with the city council budget meetings. So there is a copy of a revised schedule in your packet. It says draft revised at the top under the schedule. If we could get that approved today, then I can get it forward to Darrell, the appropriate parties.
So Commissioner is looking for a motion to approve the revised meeting schedule.
I move that we approve the revised planning meeting schedule.
Support. Question.
We have a question from Commissioner Martin before we vote.
You said what date was changed in May?
We eliminated the middle meeting and moved the first meeting to May 1st because it was the second week instead, because we had 2 meetings that conflicted with the budget meetings.
You eliminated the May 15th meeting?
Yes, and then moved the 8th to the 1st.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So, remind me, so we have a favorable motion by Commissioner Goodwin Dye. Who was my support on that? Supported by Commissioner Wills. All in favor of? Aye. Any opposed? No.
Thank you.
Next.
And the remaining item is just to let you know that we have those meetings in February. The study meeting on the 7th, where we'll be introducing some new cases The CIP study meeting, which will be 3 PM on the 21st, which we'll go over initially all of the capital improvement projects that are proposed to be in the capital improvement program. And then the regular meeting at the end of the month on I'll get the wrong date on there. Sorry, February 28th, I'll finish January. Let me get out to fix that on the presentation.
And again, if you recall, the first CIP study meeting is when the departments attend. And again, I would ask you, if you have questions, to focus on planning and zoning related questions and not get down into the weeds about what paint color they're going to use in a particular building or something. So it's, our goal is really to make sure that there is a body that's making sure the left hand and the right hand are working together. And I've used this example before. If we know that a certain road is going to be repaved in year 1, and then in year 2 they're going to come and rip it up to put a water or sewer in, that's counterintuitive to our fiscal responsibility. So those are the kind of things that you're looking at, not getting down. And I know as residents you have a lot of interest in these projects, but try to focus your questions on things that are related to, is this in support or conflict of the master plan? Is this in support or conflict with standard budgeting? Is there any right-hand, left-hand things that are working contrary to each other? That's really where your questions should be focused.
Anything else for the good of the order, as you always say?
I won't ask about the Bearcat again. Armored car.
Hearing none, meeting adjourned at 8:31.